Hello, ladies, and hello, audience.
Hi.
Welcome to Brew'd. How's everyone doing on this wet, cold day today?
Trying to stay warm, honey.
I'm
You
trying to stay healthy, but I'm doing
know,
good.
so it's our first episode of 2026, and we want to welcome our audience in and just say we're planning for a great year with Team Brew'd this year. So looking forward to everything and what's upcoming. And what we want to do today is we're going to talk about our power play and bingo cards, but we'll get into that first. Today, of course, I'm Latasha, got Jamila, Anna Keisha, Shallery, who is our fourth host. She's not going to be with us much this season. She may pop in here and there, but who knows? So, anyway, let's kick it off, Jamila, with the spiel today. What's going on in the celebrity world?
Okay, so we're going to start out this season a little risque, honey, with the field topics. So we're going to take it back. I know everybody is familiar with the infamous dress. We have Pastor Jamal Bryant's wife. Here we go,
Miss
Yes.
Carrie.
Carrie. Okay. So the question I want to ask you, ladies, I know we all saw it on our timelines. We had a lot of opinions. A lot of people had think pieces. We had some people saying a lot of not so nice comments. Um, so the question I want to ask today is, some people along online called the gown inappropriate for a pastor's wife. Okay. Is that valid, or are we policing women's bodies outside of church spaces? Let me go ahead and give my humble opinion right quick. I think we are. I feel like, this wasn't a church space. It was worn at a black tie event. And I feel like the conversation, it distracted from the goal, which was the 4 million that was raised that night, right? I do think it's a double standard sometimes when it comes to women what we wear, especially, the curvy girls. We have to be kind of careful about the pieces and especially like the positions that we are in. But I still feel like it's similar to like saying, wearing a bikini to the beach. That whole conversation. What are your thoughts?
So my thoughts are I felt very strongly when this first came out that this was just wrong. It was not appropriate as a first lady. But then I had to do some soul searching. I really loved the dress she had on. Dress was beautiful. She has a beautiful shape. She's a beautiful black woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so my problem with the dress is considered an illusion dress. And so when you think about the word illusion, you're alluding to something. And so the dress alludes to you have on anything, you don't have on anything underneath. So that's where my problem kind of lies, that it's an illusion dress. And so that's, even how it gathers, I mean, the design was on point because even as the dress gathered towards her private section, it eludes our private section. So the fact that it was
I didn't look at it like that. You
Yeah,
got a good point.
the
do.
fact that it's an
Yeah.
illusion dress, and because she is, let's take pastor's wife out of this, because she's in ministry, because she's a motivational speaker, because she does so much in the public eye, that's where my problem lied with the dress. And like I say, we have a dress code on our jobs. We can't go to work with what we want to wear. We can't wear a bikini to work. So that's my problem with the dress. But beautiful dress, beautiful person inside and out she is, but I just have a problem that it's an illusion dress and it
Mhm.
makes allusions to certain parts of her body of what they are.
So, hearing your perspective about how it gathers and how it outlines what could be the happy spot, I see that
Mhm.
now, which I did not see in the past. But
Right. I didn't either.
I strongly still felt like it was a black tie event. They weren't in the church house. She wasn't doing the public speaking, but even with the dress, I've seen different angles where the dress looked mainly black with the brown undertone. So maybe like when they weren't in front of photography lights, maybe it wasn't as much of an illusion as to what her dress looked like, but I saw it and it looked more like a black and brown dress when she was in the rooms. So I'm almost certain that even though it had this illusion, like even in the picture with him and her together, where there's lights hitting it, it's darker than the one when she's outside and the photographers are hitting it. And so I just kind of just feel like it was really taken out of context. But I now, listening to your perspective, Tasha, I do understand that there's a uniform, right? But my question is this uniform only for ministry? Because I've seen people like Beyonce, who's well respected. She's an entertainer. I've seen Madonna, who's be naked. I've seen Rihanna on a red carpet with, the rhinestone dress on, and she was completely naked, and everybody was hollering liberation. So is it liberation when it's everybody else, and is it not liberation when you're in ministry? Is the ministry the part of the title that changes everything? Because Rihanna was practically naked on the red carpet and everybody was praising it, and I think she won like best dress in the fashion, and so it's just like, when is risque okay and when is it not? Is it only in ministry?
Or where can a pastor's wife wear this that will still make her feel, sexy and still, modest at the same time? Like, we're safe, basically.
Or it's not even real estate. So you hit on a good point, Anna Keisha. You said Rihanna won awards. Let's think about, let's go back to the Oscars, since we're talking about dresses here. So when Denzel won his Oscar, he won it for Training Day, something that was out of his character, right?
Okay.
When Rihanna won, she won because she was half naked, right?
Okay.
Think about the roles when people win Oscars, especially people of color. It's something out of their norm. So I feel like, again, attention seeking. I feel like it came more so from her husband, who I follow, who I've been in person to his church services several times. But I think they wanted to make themselves more relevant than they already are. But if you think about it, they just, that's when people get at the top of their game, when they do something out of character.
Well, that's true. But I just think Jamal Bryant, which I do like him. Jamal Bryant he would be like a good big brother to me, because like how he carry on is definitely how I would carry on. So I don't always agree with every single thing that he does, but like I said, we got the same kind of mentality with the carrying on. I personally don't feel like he was trying to necessarily be completely attention seeking, because he already do that. He has his podcast. He gets on the mic in the pulpit. He stands up in political matters when everybody else will remain silent about it. He's very big on top.
Not for him though, Anna Keisha. He was trying to put wifey in the same limelight as him.
I will give you that. I mean, but I feel like both of them are always in some kind of limelight. When I see her and him on their podcast, they're always, I just always feel like it was bigger than life. But I understand your perspective on that. But I just feel like the dress was beautiful.
Oh, it was a gorgeous dress. Gorgeous.
And I'm gonna be honest. I don't think a whole lot of first ladies could have pulled it off anyway.
No, she's a bad mama jamma now.
And see, I feel like because she has those curves, that's the real problem.
She has a beautiful shape.
Yes.
I'm not taking that away from her at all. And you should flaunt your curves. But again, it's because of all the illusions that the dress portrayed. Again, that's where my problem lies, not with her, but the illusions that the dress portrayed.
Yeah, it's more like enticing the idea. Okay, got you. Okay.
Man, I still don't warrant that pastor calling her no $2 hoe.
Not me either. I didn't like that at all, because I tell you, who couldn't have pulled it off? His wife.
Boom. But I wouldn't even want my husband to say anything like he put her out there like a $2 hole, because what you know about a $2 hole?
That would have been what I would have been asking him.
Exactly.
Yep. Well, that leads me to my next story, shall we? Let's go to Drewski. Okay, so we're gonna stay in the sanctuary with this topic, okay? So, yeah, we somewhere now.
What's in your cup?
I am drinking green tea with lemon because have some sinus issues.
What about you, Jamila?
I'm drinking chamomile tea in my J cup.
So I'm the only one drinking wine.
It's still dry January. Why are you drinking wine?
Who said it was? You know this glass right here. Y'all see the glass? Look, audience. See the glass? This glass hold a whole bottle of wine.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, but no, it's not dry January. But let's get back to Drewski, honey.
Okay, so let's see what Drewski got going on. I know everybody saw his skit that he did. So a lot of people were upset about it, saying that he was mocking God and religion itself. Or in my opinion, I feel like he did expose some uncomfortable truths. Do you agree? I feel like he held the mirror up to the community specifically, I feel, to show us how we look. Okay. So I don't feel like he was mocking God at all or religion. I did not know that he did have the same blazer and shoes in the same pose as a particular pastor. So I feel like he was making fun of that particular pastor. But he also included the whole closing the doors. We're not leaving until we get X amount of money. That conversation that happened last year, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's another thing. Do you think that he was mocking God or religion, or do you think he exposed and opened the door for the conversation that we really don't want to have?
Definitely exposed. I don't think it was mocking. This is the reality of the world we live in right now. It's not just in the church, it's the world we live in. I mean, just look around at what's going in the world right now with politics that we won't get into. But so what makes the church exempt from being foolish as well? And so I just think it wasn't him mocking God. He didn't come up with this stuff in his head. He based it off of stuff that actually happened in church. So that's my take on it. No mocking.
I say again, no mocking. I even asked the question on Facebook. Are y'all mad at Drewski for the skit, or are y'all mad because the skit reigns true for some people? And the truth of the matter is that a lot of the comments were like, yeah, he hit the nail on the head for a lot of people. And it's hard to look at yourself in the mirror, because when you're thinking you're pulling the wool over people's eyes with these, performative measures that you're doing in church, we really see the real you. We see what's really behind. And some people are afraid of the awakening of the rest of the congregation, because if people start realizing,
when they ask some questions,
they start
my money deflates. Now I'm losing members. Now I got to figure out a new way. I got to pivot. And so I think for some people, not everybody, I don't think everybody is that way, but we're not going to sit here and pretend that every single church is on the up and up, just like we don't pretend that every business run on the up and up, every hospital, every political matter is up and up. We might well tell the truth and say that church is not on the up and up always. And that's the problem that people are having with it. He had real life stuff. The pastor flying in the air, that was not a skit.
That was real.
And that's so crazy when you see people posting just like the performances. I think it was like an Easter program they posted. It was a whole show, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't know they had all that, going on. So it was really spot on. But it was funny though. I liked it.
It was very funny.
It was very funny because he's funny.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to I saw this statement earlier on Facebook from someone local, actually. And it said, let me pull it up here. Lord, bring back modesty to the world, especially in churches and the choir stand. burn away the unnecessary and replace with modesty. And I think the key word in that for me is the unnecessary, because some of the things are unnecessary. And that is why a lot of people have turned to like the virtual church and, finding other ways. But I know we're going to get into that on our next one. So, Jamila, I'll let you take it back.
All right, so let's take it back to my good guy Kanye. Even though I do not, let me go ahead and do a disclaimer. I don't agree with what he's doing now and how he's carrying on, but I did love the era where he did praise and worship and Sunday service. I did enjoy that. I do enjoy the gospel album that he did. Also, the Sunday service, they have a gospel album. So I love that. So my question is, does praise and worship need church walls, pastors, and structure to be considered legitimate, or is personal expression part of spiritual freedom? Because a lot of people say the church is within, okay? And you can praise and worship comforts of your home,
Yeah,
your car.
okay.
So what are your thoughts?
For this one, I don't think it take the four walls of the church. I think, we kind of learned that during COVID when we had to pivot and we had to do everything virtual. I also look at it as with Kanye. Kanye probably reached some people that a pastor couldn't have reached. You can find that in not just pastors, and so that's why I look at, like I told y'all before, I do a lot of virtual church, and I do that because I do so much in the community, and that's my ministry, and how I help people. And sometimes that could be a person, you could save a person's life without being inside of the church, because you never know what you said to make that person change, to make them feel better. And it doesn't take being inside of the four church walls to do that. I think what Kanye did was excellent. And like I said, I can believe he led some people to church through what he did. And
Especially his children.
yes, it takes that, So I'm a big proponent of, you don't have to be inside of the four walls, because you can reach people through teaching, coaching, So it's what you do outside of the church anyway. I had a coworker say this long time ago. She said, I could stand in the garage all day. That don't make me a car.
That's it. That's it.
You see what I'm saying? So I just, I think, you can reach people different ways. So that's my take on it.
I feel very much so like Tasha. I've been struggling back and forth on doing in-person worship or commercial worship versus worshiping, virtually. I've been testing out the virtual worship just to see if I get the same effect or feeling or motivation that I do when I'm inside of corporate worship. I will say I do like it in person. I do like it. Is basically congregating and meeting new friends and stuff like that. But then I also have issues sometimes. I feel like, and I'm not saying any specific like church, but sometimes I'm a person who likes to sit in the front of church, and the reason is when I was little, I used to hate for people to cross my feet. You got to go to the bathroom. You coming in late. You trying to find you somewhere to sit. And now I got to turn to the side. You stepping on my toes. I can't. I can't. So I always make it a point to sit either very front of row or maybe the first two rows. But as we're growing, there's different dynamics that are changing within my home church that requires me to sit further back, which is fine. But now I have to ask myself, like, well, I know I don't want people crossing my feet. So I think I'm going to worship from the house. And what difference do it make as long as I'm getting the same message? Yep. I still important community-wise. I can still be a part of the church if they have it, if I want to be. So it's like, well, while corporate worship is cool, I feel like I like having the flexibility of being at the comfort of my front row in my home and still be a service of the church. I don't mind being a service, being part of the community, being on any kind of committees, but I just cannot sit down in your middle and your back rows of your church because I don't want people crossing over my feet. So that's what my struggle been. But I also know, like Tasha was saying, you can stand in a garage all day. It doesn't make you a car. So there's a lot of people that show up, and I'm not saying my specific church, but there's a lot of people who show up at churches and they are praising, and they got a whole lot of hell in them. There's a whole lot of me. Here's something that we don't talk about enough. Let's be honest. There's a lot of mean people that's up in them churches too. Mean girls, mean ministries, mean deacons, mean pastors. You know, I discovered that they have a insurance for if a church get accused of sexual assault. They have insurances that cover churches from these allegations, and you can Google it. I found that out via TikTok. And I was like, no way. So I went and Googled myself, and there are insurance company policies that have sexual assault protections for churches. So that should tell you something, right? So, like, if we're going to be honest about church, we got to talk about everything that goes on within it. And then I feel like you have to have that flexibility to do what's best for you. I don't mind praising the Lord and going to church, but anytime I feel uncomfortable in my spirit, I'm going home. So that's where I'm at with it.
What about you, Jamila? Did you give us your take? Okay.
Yes. Like I say, I love the whole praise and worship outside.
Yeah.
You know, I love what he was doing. And I feel like, you know, during the time that he did it, everybody was saying like, oh, it looks like a cult, you know, it looks so just odd. But I just feel like it was just different. People didn't understand it. But, you know, there goes the whole uniform question. Look how they're dressed. Okay. They're covered up. It's plain. So it's just a lot that goes into that. So this is so totally off topic. But I want to talk about this. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but your girl is back, honey. Your girl is back.
We did a drum roll for that. I'm happy she back because she need a check, honey. She need to work.
Oh, shade. So much shade. You just don't do my girl like that.
No, I'm happy she's back.
Yes, I feel like this is so off topic, but I just had to talk about it. Everybody who knows me know I love Housewives of Atlanta, the older seasons, honey, not the new stuff. But I feel like for you to sue the network and then get hired again, that's something I've never heard of because it was a big battle with that whole thing. And then another question somebody asked, why would you go back to a network that didn't treat you right? Because that was the whole lawsuit anyway.
So did she win the suit, Jamila?
She did. Okay. She won the suit. But it was a whole, you know, mistreatment from producers, the network itself. But hey, now she's back. But she doesn't have her peach just yet. So they're going to start her out with the Ultimate Girls Trip. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. The Ultimate Girl Trip. Okay, so if she does get her peach back, what is your dream cast and why?
I'll start. My dream cast is Nene, Sheree.
Six of them.
Say that again.
6.
Okay, 6 of them. So Nene, Sheree. I would love to see Candy going through her divorce this time because usually she don't have much going on, but I want her. I wanted Shamia. I wanted to see more of Shamia. Some of the new girls I really don't know, but I want Kim Moore back, and I want Phaedra.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, I want, of course, Nene. She made the show. I don't know why people put her at such a higher standard than the other girls when Nene was just as shady, just as messy as the other one. They all messy. Of course, Nene would like to see Sheree, Candy, Kenya, Phaedra, and Cynthia. Oh, wait. No. I gotta get Cynthia up for Portia.
She could be a friend of the show. Cause you
Yes,
still gotta have the
yeah,
friend of the show.
yeah.
Yeah. So I would do Nene Phaedra. I would do, even though she's so dry, I would do Candy because the whole divorce thing. I would do Portia and Cynthia, and I would do Angela, the new girl. But for friends of the show, I would do Marlo. I would do Tanya. I would do Drew as a friend of the show. So yeah, Kenya, no ma'am.
Yeah,
I
would definitely do Kenya.
Did I say Phaedra? I meant say Phaedra too. Yeah.
One thing I learned once they weren't on the show is Kenya and Nene know how to play off each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like they know what material they need to work with to make the show do what it do. And so I feel like the OGs know. I personally feel like the new girls have a blueprint that they try to stick to. They saw what happened in the past, in the previous years, and now they're performing where the OGs, even though Kenya was performing in the beginning, but
she was. Yes,
she was performing.
Yeah, but with the OGs, it was something more authentic. Like the reason why Nene is like hailed the queen is because she was there from the beginning. She started it. She's the reason we have it. But then I do know that part got to her head a lot. If without this, without me, it would be no Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I think that part really blew up her head and had her moving about. But now, Greg, the boys are either in jail or sick. She trying to figure out her life. She's accustomed to a certain lifestyle. She needs to bring her back. The Ultimate Girls Trip should be interesting. Now, going back to the question you said, why would you go back to a network that you say this is
right.
I feel like there's always three sides to every story. The one thing about Nene is like she pointed out some injustices, like how Jersey housewife, the one that flipped the table, Teresa, she went to jail. They held a spot for her, but they didn't necessarily do that for Nene when she had her issues, whatever the case may be. But I don't recall anybody trying to sue Bravo either. Like she alluded that Andy was out here doing drugs.
Yes, honey, those allegations, honey. She had receipts. I mean, she won now, so.
So
she
but the only thing, and I see what you're saying, like it makes her relevant because they wanted her back, but I can look at it both sides, like Anna Keisha said, but you crawled back to them too.
Yes.
That's both.
So do you lose credibility by doing that?
You lose some credibility by doing that when you said all of this about them.
Right.
You crawling back to them too. Now that's not just them wanting you. You need them too, because if you didn't, you wouldn't go back.
And she has, and she's been in interviews when all of this was going on. She was in interviews saying, I feel like I have a story to tell. They should give me a second chance. I think we can resolve it. So to me, it was always one of those situations where I felt like she was threatening and calling bluffs in the beginning. And then she had to continue on because at first they wasn't budget. This is just my personal feelings. And then stuff came out. But I think in mediation, wherever she won and wherever they decided to agree upon, she was able to get back on the show. Now, I don't know if she's going to be holding a peach again. But the Ultimate Girls is one to see.
I think that'll be nice for her. I just hate that we missed out on her story, which we read his passing. One of her sons, he has a lot of heart issues. Does he have like congestive heart failure? I'm not sure what it is.
Yes, exactly it is.
Right. Okay, yeah, that one. I really wish we could have seen that. Her dating Yanni, whatever his name, Yanni.
Oh yeah. And she's off and on with him. When she had her show, she spoke a lot about being dependent on Greg.
Oh yeah, she didn't know how to pay a bill without him.
Yes. So it's like finding somebody to fill those shoes, and she was like, as bossy and independent as she appeared, Nene is very interdependent to a spouse. She's very much like she said on her own show, out her own mouth, I am a wife. I don't want to be a
And she
girl.
was a wife, honey. And she
Mhm.
said, "I'll open my legs when I feel like it." That's what she said.
Exactly.
Yep.
She said, "When I feel like it." Okay.
Exactly.
What she
So
said, Greg, horny their ass. Beep, beep. That's my girl, honey. That's my girl.
I'm happy to see her back. I'm
Yeah.
happy to see some of the
Yeah.
other housewives happy to see her back. So I'm ready for the OGs to come back. They need to have Real Housewives of Atlanta OG
A
edition
reunion. Yeah.
without
Yes,
Kim,
they do.
without Kim Zolciak. They could keep her. I don't like her.
I
I
Yeah.
don't like her.
mean,
I don't like her from the moment she got with
mhm.
Troy and she thought she was better than them
Mhm.
girls and started talking about I don't want to go and eat chicken with Nene. And they got roaches in their house. Once you
And
start
she ran Croy dry.
ran him dry
Dry, honey.
like his mama said she would. They
Hmm.
tried to tell that boy, you are like a D-list Falcon person. Like you ain't even all that, sir. You better hold on to this money. She sucked them dry, pushed out all them kids, and now look at it.
But I feel like they could have capitalized off of the show that she had her own spinoff. So I really
Hmm.
feel like y'all were set up really well. You had your seasons after seasons after seasons, with the
That's
what?
that
Don't be party for the party. That
Yeah.
whole
yeah,
spinoff. So I
her
feel
game.
like what happened? I
Her
feel like what
game.
happened, y'all were set up real good. And that's
Her
why Nina was mad too. Like, why did she get a spinoff show? Nene should have had a spinoff show.
she did have the marriage
She
spinoff,
just
but
had the marriage one, but I just feel like it could have been like keeping up with the leaks. That's something that she was trying to pitch for years. Keeping
Hmm.
up with the leaks,
Hmm.
because honestly, I really wanted to see her journey with Greg. She talked about a lot of stuff, and I feel like the drama with the cast overshadowed her story because his whole cancer
yeah.
diagnosis, that whole thing, because they were talking about separating at one time. So
Yeah,
I
they
really feel like
were.
they went through it. They went
Mhm.
through it, and I just really wish we could have gotten to see that part.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's the spiel.
That
What
was a
is the spiel?
that was a spill, and a spill it was.
Okay. So, what we really want to dive into is our power play and our Brew'd Bingo 101. And just talking about, it's 2026 and what we plan to manifest this year, things we want to do differently, things we want to try new, and just jumping right into our power play. But before we get into it, is it anything that's just like pressing that's hot for you ladies that y'all want to make sure y'all manifest this year in 2026?
I would say pushing myself out of my comfort zone. Y'all know me more than anybody. Well, we go back how many years? Both of
Long
y'all.
time,
A
long time.
long time.
And y'all know I have just been just this shy little birdie. So this year I'm pushing myself to get out of that and be
Yeah.
seen and
I,
give myself to the world. Not
to the world.
to the world. You know what I mean? Like, because y'all get a side of me, you know.
Yeah,
Those conversations we used to have in the shop,
Yeah.
yes,
you know.
yes,
So
yes.
just getting into my creative side, it's a lot of ideas in this brain, and it's just not enough time in a day. So that's what I'm trying to do this year. Really push myself.
Okay. That's good.
Mhm.
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 For me, I am somewhat like Jamila. I went on an entrepreneurship trip this week, and I was in a room with 6 and 7 and 8 figure businesses, and one of the main themes in there was you are holding your business back because you are too afraid of being seen.
Mhm.
You're so busy trying to hide your talent that you're
Yep.
stifling your growth.
Mm.
And because of that, you're not seeing what you're not going where you could go, your fullest potential. So they was like, you're gonna have to stop hiding. You're gonna have to show yourself to the world. And I was sitting there like, I was just saying, I'm a hide. I just posted on Facebook. Where do y'all go to hide? Who, your extra side of you, your fun side of you? Where do you go to hide? And it was like, you have to stop hiding. You're just gonna have to be who you are. Be authentic to yourself and be open, because if you're talent, if you're brilliant, if you got something that the world needs to see, you're going to be famous. There was like, some of you want the growth without the fame, and that's just not always how it goes. People need to see the face behind the brand. So like Jamila said, is me pushing myself to the fullest potential and being okay with being open and being out there and being seen. That's the biggest thing. I remember saying earlier this week, I don't want to be famous. I just want to be free. But honey, in being free, sometimes you're gonna be seen, and I'm gonna have to be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Yep. Comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yes. Moving out of
That's
those.
a word, honey.
And I guess for me, it's going to be more so, pouring into myself and trying new things. I really got, like Jamila, like you said, so much in this brain. So just trying new things, but making sure I'm intentional about those new things. I learned a lot of hard lessons last year. About giving of myself, and when that wasn't reciprocated back. So not doing that in 2026. I gave a lot of grace in 2025, but in 26 it's gonna be a lot of FUs. I'm just being honest, because I'm
running a street program.
Yes, it's just I'm not doing it. And so, but trying new things. Shout out to Total Tees pole dancing studio. I went to a pole dancing class at the 1st of January. And it was so fun. Shout out to the ladies there. We had some great conversations, and you just never know about people walking life and what to get to where they are. And so, just trying new things, and giving back as I can. But a lot of that giving back is going to be to myself. I'm going to be a little selfish this year.
Yeah.
So,
Gotta be.
So let's get into our first question. So, why reflection matters more than completion, and how journaling can reframe success? Who want to take that one first?
I'll take this one first, because I meant to bring it downstairs with me, but I left it upstairs. But because I remember last year, I had big goals of growing myself and my brand, and I felt like I was just running in circles. And when I didn't get things completed, or I didn't reach the goal that I had for myself, I felt like a complete failure. And then one of my friends came out with a journal. Her name is Christelle Parham, and she came out with a journal. But it's a calendar and it's a journal all in one. And it's one of those very therapeutic kinds, though. It's like you map out your week, but in the back of that week, it'll ask you what you got completed and what you didn't get completed, and you leaving space for why you didn't get it completed, letting you know that it's okay. You hit what's important. You can prioritize next week, or even in that journal, it's a section in there where you can list out who shows up for you. You're showing up for everybody else. It is a really good journal. I'm talking about, it's almost like a diary with a calendar. It really truly is. And so I got so caught up in trying to cross stuff off my list that some of the stuff I was just doing all wrong, because I just had to hurry up and get it done. Like you all both said, we got so much in our brain we want to execute.
Yeah.
And I hate feeling like a failure or saying I'm gonna do something and it don't get done. But with journaling and not just crossing it off the list, but understanding that I need to get it completed versus crossing it off, it helps. And the journaling part just helps me feel better about saying, well, at least you got this done. Now you can work on the back end for the other stuff. So that's what I enjoy.
Okay.
I agree as well. I have a journal as well. It's a planner slash journal, just like you said.
Yeah.
Mine, it has to where it's like a 3-month check-in. So it has it to where you're checking in every 3 months, and also it asks questions like, "What are you doing to work towards these goals, and why do you want to achieve this goal?" So I like the whole checking in and breaking it up because it's helping you. You have to check in. So I think journaling is very, very, very important. And
It is.
sometimes my husband was like, "You buy all these journals and you don't even finish them. Like, why do you keep on buying these planners? Like, you don't." And he's right. But I said this year I'm finishing it. Okay, I have to fill out everything in that planner, in that journal, mark off my goals. Like I have to run a street program 2026. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I don't journal. Something that I really never have done. Probably should do it. Probably keep me on task better. But when I reflection matters, though, I do take moments to look back and say, "Hey, how could I have done this differently?"
Mm-hmm.
Or what could I have done to improve on this? So I do a lot of reflection because I don't always get it right either. And sometimes my reflection is even seeking help and asking others, like, what's your opinion of how this was done? And how would you have done it different? Because my way is not always the right way. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I do my reflection. But I can't promise you I'm going to do some journaling, but I'll consider it this year.
Okay.
It's very
It's a start.
therapeutic.
It's a start because I'm like Jamila.
Mm-hmm.
If it's cute, I buy it.
Yeah, and it's gonna help me. And I will say this too. This is something I tried last year. If I'm triggered by something or if I'm offended by something, I journal about it. I like
Okay.
really dig down deep to like, why did this offend me? Why did this trigger me? And it has really helped a lot.
So it really is. It does sound like it is almost like a diary. So do
Mm-hmm.
you, speaking of, okay, so both of y'all journal and y'all write down
Mm-hmm.
everything. How
Mm-hmm.
would you feel if that journal was left in a restaurant unlocked?
You got to burn the pages.
Would you,
That's
would
what
you
I
go into panic mode?
I would, but that's why I burn it for
So
stuff
you
like
do
that. Like
burn it.
I release it, I write it out, I figure out what was going on, and just release it.
So, but what if you want to reflect back
I don't want
a
to.
year later? What if this same situation come up? You gonna just handle it differently, I guess?
I feel like fortunately I haven't had to reflect, and
Okay.
it hasn't come back up that particular thing. Honestly, I don't like reflecting on my diary entries. I really don't. I don't. It just
That's
gives me
So
the,
decent
you
for
know how
you
people
as
say
a
they don't like to see
human.
themselves like on camera. They don't like to hear themselves speak.
Huh.
That's how I feel about reading where I was 2, 3 years ago. It
now
gives me the ick.
I am the person. I never go back and watch our lives. I don't like to see myself on camera. Crazy as it might seem, like I might snap a picture or do a quick snap or a quick TikTok, but like watching on film, I'm definitely not that person. But
Mhm.
with my journals, man, I hold on to them. Now I never write something in there that I would
That you
lose
don't
my
want somebody
mind
to
if
see.
somebody pick it up.
Yeah.
But I do go back and be like, oh man, I said this back in 20 whatever, or I
Mhm.
put this in place back then. Because sometimes before there was a chat GPT or anything, you would go to sleep with an idea and you need to
Mhm.
write it down because you'll forget it.
Yeah.
And there would be so many of those times I woke up in the middle of the night. I got to get this out. I got to write this down because I'm going to forget it. But this is a really good idea. And so I'll go back and be working in that idea and be like, I wrote this back in 2022. Or I said this idea back then.
Mhm.
I need to follow up with that. So I do go back and look at my journals, but not on purpose. It might be
Mhm.
a sporadic thing. It's like, oh, I've been looking for this journal, and I'll go through and
Right.
flip through, and there it is. Now I haven't been perfect with journaling. Mine were just random thoughts, like a random Chat GPT talk. But this year it's going to be more intentional. But I'm never writing something in there that I'm afraid somebody's gonna be like, "Girl, I picked up Keisha's journal. She got some tea in there."
She got an illusion in there.
Exactly.
Okay, so moving on to our next question. The obsession with doing everything and how to resist turning growth into a competition. Hmm.
Who wants to take that one first?
I'm not paying attention to what nobody else doing, so it's not a competition. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm just not focused on everybody else stuff. You know what I'm saying? What's for them is for what's them, and I don't see it as a competition.
Yeah, I don't see anything as a competition either. I can agree 100% with you with that. I
Mm-hmm.
have learned and I encourage everyone because
Mm-hmm.
everybody want to see at someone's table. Create your own table.
Yeah, create your own table.
Say this all
Yeah.
the time. Create your own table and they will come. They will come begging for a seat at that table. But
See what you got going on over here.
yeah, and so I never see anything as competition. There's enough opportunity out there for everyone. And sometimes it takes, a little bit harder work for some than others, but
Mm-hmm.
you eventually will get to it once you put it to work. I saw something last week on Instagram, and it was from a high school. I think he a basketball player at I want to say it was West Side High School or Howard, one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "I'm different from others. I have to work if I'm going to eat." And that was a teenager saying that. And so that is so true in life. You got to put in some work. There
Yeah.
are opportunities, where you can skip the line on some things, but it takes work. But competition. And then I'm learning that if I do have an idea or if I have something, to foster collaboration with that. But you have to trust the people because some people will, and it has happened, take your idea and steal it and run with it.
Right.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to foster collaboration in the right way, have your trustworthy circle.
Yep.
Matters a whole lot. And so that's how I would answer that question.
For me, the first part was how do I try not to do everything? This is where I would say AI is going to come in for me. Because, like I said, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I have this idea, and there's way to grow, and there's way to scale, and there's way to do this and this, and then I have to get real comfortable. I found that Gemini is much more thorough than Chat GPT. Just a little
It
tidbit.
is. It is. It
And
is
so
very yes.
I will go into Gemini in a previous chat that I might have threw some ideas in, and I'll say, I need to get focused. I gave you a lot of information, but where I'm trying to go and what I want to do, help me focus, right? Because that'll keep me from doing what we call the shiny object method, where you see something nice and gold, you want that. You get that goal, you see another goal somewhere, you want that. To keep me from
Mm-hmm.
doing that, I just try to streamline it so I can have tunnel vision in a way of what my actual goal is and work towards that. Now, how to resist turning growth into a competition. Being with like-minded people is going to do that. People that are either already doing better than you is the groups I definitely prefer to be in. People
Mhm.
who are where I'm trying to be, and they're like, "Oh, let me help you. Let's collaborate." And I'm always, "You can help me, but how can I help you? How can this be mutually benefiting?" Because I don't never want somebody to say, "I did this," if you know what I mean. Like, I did this, and you
Oh
didn't do
yeah, you got to be careful with that one too.
Mhm.
People will throw that up in your face and say, "Honey, I didn't help you do this," and honey, you wouldn't have that.
this.
I
It
Exactly.
didn't
was
help you get
mhm.
there. So you got to
Yeah.
be careful with collaboration sometimes, for real.
You do, and
And
so
people don't realize that they block their blessing when they do that because your blessing come through helping others.
that's true.
Your kids' blessings come through you helping others, and so
Hmm.
people do not realize that.
And
And
do it from your heart.
there you
Yes,
Because
pure
you throw
intentions.
it, yes, when you throw it up and say, "Well, I gave you this and I gave you that,"
go.
Mhm.
but also helping others does create an illusion too. Because if you are a public figure or a certain somebody in the community, helping others is going to make you look better on the outside. But a person who know, like, come on now.
Yeah.
It's the image thing too. It makes you look better too. So you
I
got to be
also
careful.
think though, just it really goes back to alignment with a lot of stuff, because sometimes you and your discernment. Sometimes your discernment will tell you that these people ain't right from the jump. But
Mm-hmm.
we don't always listen because we want to get in the benefit of the doubt. But a lot of the times we can discern on the kind of people that's in our path. So we have to, listen to that mostly. But also, like I said, the alignment. Where I was this week, you couldn't get out. If you got to the mic and you told people who you were and what you were doing and how you can help them, the end result too was, don't you just tell us about how you can help? What do you need from this room? When you have a group that fosters what do you need from us, it makes a world of difference.
Mm-hmm.
We're all on the same path at that point. You
Yeah.
something I can do, you can offer me, but what do you need from me? Because we might have it in this room. So being in the right rooms is important. I would say that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what square are you scared to erase because that's just how it's always been?
So for me, I would say the square I want to erase because it's always been is me trying to keep family traditions going. Um,
Mm-hmm.
my favorite holiday, like I said last year, was Thanksgiving. I love that because I feel like this is time when people can come and eat and we have a good time. And so I be wanting to bring my family. I'll never tell them to bring something. You ain't got to bring nothing to eat. Now, if you ask, I'll tell you bring whatever you like. But I'll never make it a requirement. It's already ready for you to. I just need you to show up. But this year, it was just more of a tasking situation to the point where the kids were like, Mama, can we do something different? And so I had to realize that I was trying to heal a lot of my childhood trauma through hosting Thanksgiving with my family, that I was also exposing my kids to the same trauma. Like my family not showing up and stuff like that. I'm used to it. I'm used to certain things happening in my lifetime just because how me and my brother was treated when we were younger. But then when my kids start saying little stuff, it was like, you know what? I'm introducing them to the same trauma by trying to keep this tradition going. So this year I'm gonna let it go. We're not doing Thanksgiving this year.
You're doing the F
You're
you.
not.
We're gonna do something different.
Mhm.
We're gonna go on a family trip, just me and my kids and my
Yeah.
husband.
And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. Some people always say, "Well, that's just how it's always been done." And so the way I had to look at this question is just recently through interviewing at work, replacing my former position. And so we do these panel interviews, and I had, so many of the other managers was like, I just don't know if they're going to be able to do it like you, Latasha. And I finally had to say, they're not. They're going to create their own way of doing things, just like I had
Mm-hmm.
to. And, they just was like, your shoes are going to be so hard to fill. Yes, they are, but somebody else can walk in their own shoes and create their own way of doing things. And so just, letting go and being more collaborative and seeking help, not trying to do everything myself and taking help, the right help, because I always say there's a cost for everything. There is nothing in life free. And so you just have to make sure you say, like Jamila just said, you help people, but you don't want nobody throwing that back up in your face. And
That's
so
true.
that's how I've always been. And there's a lot of things that I've done in the community. And even though I share a lot, but there's a lot of things that people don't know of what I do, because it's not for everybody to know. That's not how I get my blessing back, saying, well, I did such and such, because again, it goes back to having pure intentions and a pure heart. When your intentions are real and pure, you are not going to fail. But when they aren't, guarantee you.
That's right.
Failure will
Every
come.
time.
Failure will come every time, but you just have to have good and pure intentions. And it's so many evil. It's so much evil in the world that we live in, and it's down to I always thought kids off limit. Mm-mm, mm-mm. People prey on kids, and they want to see kids fail too. So
That's crazy.
yeah, so it's just it's just no more grace. No
No
more
more grace 2026. No more grace.
grace. No more
Honey,
grace.
because we
I've
all
given
are.
enough
I have
grace.
extended so much grace to people,
Yeah,
honey.
I've given too much grace. Okay.
But
That's how I feel about it.
I have the same answers as both of y'all, really. Same thing. I would add in, this is kind of different going into like career wise, something that's always been a square, something I want to erase. Um, Stepping outside and changing career fields. I've always been told like, oh, anything outside of beauty isn't you, but I'm
Yeah.
so much more than that.
Yes.
So that I want to do something out of the norm, something totally different, honey. Erase that part. Not saying that I don't love it, but it's always expected from me.
Yes.
And it's kind of like, who gave you that square in the first place?
Right.
And I know the person who gave it to me, honey.
Do she need to look in the mirror?
Who, me?
Yeah, was it you? I'm curious to know. Was it you?
My husband.
Your husband. Oh, okay.
He was like, why don't you do this? And I was like, you know what? You on to something. And
But
it
you are
afforded
really
me
good.
opportunity for
But
years.
you
I
are
loved it. I
great.
loved it.
Yeah,
But
you
I still
did.
turned a passion and something that was a hobby, something I loved into like, once it became like a job,
Yeah.
it just wasn't just, it became something different. It wasn't
Yeah.
about the money for me. You know what I'm saying? So once it turned into that, I'm just like, okay, moving forward, I'm going to keep those things to myself. Honey, I can paint a picture down. I can do, it's nothing that I really can't do. And they be like, don't you know how to do this, you know how to do this. I have so many different talents, but that don't mean I want to charge people for it. I don't do it for that. I do it for the enjoyment.
Yeah.
So I have to be careful of people giving me those squares. That ain't on my bingo card. But here I am.
Yes.
Okay, so anyway.
Well, what about your like lawyer clients?
Well, honey, you need to hush, honey, because she's still up in there, honey.
Yeah, because Jamila did my makeup for my headshots, and she came on.
Yes, honey. I have looked out for my loyal ones, because, honey, didn't I make a house call to you too, Keisha? So let's not.
You did make a house call, but you still won't do my lashes. So
this lady won't let me leave. She won't let me just. She just won't. I just trying to just leave that part of my life, y'all. Y'all just won't let me be.
I know. I definitely won't let her be. I told her just find me somebody else reputable, and I'll be okay. And I'm sure there are people out there, but again, our comfort zone and it's just like, okay, I take it back to how Brew'd got started. The conversations laying on your table, the conversation sitting in a chair, and so it's just that's just the essence of it all. But we'll let you stay semi-retired just for your loyal.
I'm always semi-retired. You'll find me, honey. You may see me tagged in some more stuff. I mean, I love it. I can't get away from it, but it's so much stuff in this brain here, honey.
I know.
I gotta explore it all.
Same, yeah. Okay. Well, as we get ready to wrap up, so any other last minute things we want to share? And yes, we always want to thank our sponsor, Woodman Life. And, if you're interested in being a sponsor, you can message us. We are happy to have you and promote your business and services. But anything, let's see, what's coming up? Y'all, okay. What's coming up next? Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, honey. Get your orders ready, ladies.
Y'all got y'all have already placed your orders. Y'all know shipping delayed from some of these stores.
I'm looking at
I don't have to order anything. I don't have to order anything.
I seen a dress I want to try. It's a cute little mini dress. I seen them trying on TikTok. I think I want to try that on, but it depends on if I'm gonna go somewhere. I don't want to just wear it around the house. But
I've been around the house.
Yeah, wear it around the house, girl.
I mean, I want to be seen in it. But yeah, I don't have any plans other than him possibly surprising. Other than that, it's gonna be hustle and flow for me. Y'all know how I get down. People already thinking Valentine's Day at the shop for candle making.
Yeah, you're gonna be busy, honey. You're gonna be busy.
So I don't have anything Valentine wise yet. I do plan on adding something new to the shop later on next month. That would be Galentine themed, so be on the lookout for that. I'll let y'all know more as the products come in. I don't want to say nothing too soon because I'm still waiting on the stuff to come in.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll be back in the shop next month and we'll take advantage of that. So
yes.
Yeah, but Jamila, what you got planned?
I just told him to plan everything. As long as I get a steak, as long as you feed me, and I don't care. I just want to eat. I'm good. I ain't got to order nothing by death. I had to just draw.
The only problem going out to eat is everybody gonna be out there eating.
It'd be so crowded. Have y'all thought about those little? I know a couple of the local chefs do those in-house Valentine's setup meals.
Oh yeah,
I've seen those before. But yeah.
But I ain't doing nothing, honey. You plan to do everything. I just want to show up.
That's
it
what
doesn't even just be just a date, period. It doesn't even have to be anything like at night.
Yeah, just something simple.
Just something simple.
Well, we went on a date yesterday for the first time this year. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I get ready. We'll go on a date. It was to the basketball game. In case they were
life.
It is life around here. I was like, which it was a great game, great rivalry game. And I was like, I know what battles to pick and choose, so but I could have been at home reading a good book, but it still was something to do together. So I have to look at things like that. But Valentine's Day for us is actually the anniversary of our first date. And so we typically, if basketball isn't going on, I don't know, we normally would go on a vacation, a trip is what we always did Valentine's weekend. Whether it's Vegas, the plan this year was to go to Jamaica Valentine's weekend, but the resort we want to stay at still has some damage from the hurricane last year. And plus, I think we'll have basketball, but that was our plan, was to go to Jamaica this Valentine's weekend. But that's not on hold, but it's not going anywhere, as we always say. And but that's about it. And then as far as Galentine's, that's when is our next episode, y'all?
It's on the 15th, right? It's on that 15th.
Yeah. So we'll be celebrating Galentine's together with Brew'd. And so we also do a big thing for Galentine's Day at work at some of the locations and do a big different things and cookies and candy and food and balloons and photo backdrops for that. So we do celebrate Galentine's Day and still encourage women to grab their gal pal and come get a mammogram. And so, but that's about it for me. I don't know what we'll be doing as far as couple with basketball going on, but the plan was Jamaica, but the hurricane had different plans, so not going there yet.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
We'll be doing more of these.
We will be having more at home Brew'd edition as well. And thank thanks to Coach Charles Gillespie for giving us some tips on how to use this program we're using.
Oh yeah, because of the weather. When the weather changes,
Yeah.
we got to improvise and
Yeah.
just
So
go with the
Don't
flow.
leave
So
y'all hanging.
thanks for someone pouring knowledge into us that they didn't have to share with us. So we appreciate that.
yeah.
Yes, man.
All righty. Well, I will talk with you ladies later. And I hope everybody have a great, blessed, prosperous week. And this is Brew'd. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.